Bring in Lucy Johnson, who's the Health and Social Affairs Editor at the Sunday Express. Lucy, good to speak to you again. The other issue that a lot of people have touched on in terms of GPs is that a lot of these practices are run as almost like commercial operations. They have partners, GPs as partners. So is that part of the problem about how efficient or inefficient they are?
They're all different, of course. So it's sort of like your local corner shop or your grocery store or whatever. You know, some businesses practice very efficiently and can get in funding from government very well and apply for that, and others are less well run. I think the real issue has been highlighted by the Labour, by Wes Streeting actually, who said changing the music on the phone is not going to bring us more doctors, and that is true. And since the pandemic, there's been more appointments, yes, but there are fewer GPs since then, and actually more people wanting those appointments. We also have an ageing population, a population that is increasing itself. So it is a disaster in GP practice. They are in a crisis, and a lot of their work is dealing with people's social problems. And this is not what they're clinically trained to do. So they are having to deal with filling in benefit forms, housing problems, debt problems, all these things that have come out of the cost of living crisis. And to be fair to the government, it is promoting what's called social prescribing, which is to improve access or to signpost people to gardening clubs or debt help or help with housing, and that will hopefully take the weight off GPs.
Yes.
But at the moment, it is difficult to get to see a GP face to face, and it is the old family doctor that gave you that continuity of care. I don't know how many people still have that, but it seems to be pretty rare now.
Yeah, and people do really appreciate knowing their doctor and the doctor knowing them. But there lies in a very interesting or important question about, what will this role of the care navigator, as they call them, will they actually triage medically? And what could the dangers or the inherent dangers be in that?
Well, I've just been speaking to some people about it now, and doctors say, well, this is what we need and we can't do anything else, and we are in a situation where we need to triage people, and it's inevitable. But for patients, it's obviously not ideal, because those care navigators won't have that depth of knowledge, they won't have that training, and they are more likely to miss things that a doctor might not, because it's the kind of questions that you ask that might trigger a red flag and an emergency call that the care navigator may not know about. But in terms of throughput, it will be beneficial. So it's a sort of dual thing going on there. The government is also training up more people. It takes so long to train a doctor, doesn't it?
Yes.
So it's all very well saying we need more doctors, but it takes 10 years.
Yeah.
So they are, to be fair to them, training more clinical nurse, advanced clinical practitioners, and experienced. They're called doctors, so it's a sort of mixture of a doctor and a nurse, and that takes 2 years. So there are things being done, but at the same time, we do have. Many people now say the NHS is not only tipping point, it has broken and is irrevocable. It can't ever recover from the strikes and from all the backlogs. So, it's hard to see where it will go.
Indeed, depressing fact. But, of course, we'll see what the reaction is to this new announcement as we get the politicians back at Westminster, of course, in the coming week. Lucy, thank you very much indeed for that. Good to speak to you.